Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Heat Ray Vision podcast. Tonight I got myself, Hector, also known as CN6, and with me, I got Jazzy.
What up?
And no Hive. Oh, fuck, we should have
Yeah, I
done
was
that
about to say, you didn't do it.
I'm a bitch. My bad. I forgot, man. I forgot. But yeah, no Hive, right? It's just Mario and I, and we're going to be reviewing MaXXXine, the third installment of the X trilogy, right? From in 2022, I believe, the X came out, which is that thriller slasher type of movie.
Yep.
And then that same year, Pearl dropped, which was a prequel to X.
Yeah.
And now we're here with MaXXXine in 2024, which is a sequel to X.
we gotta give a backstory.
No, I know. And so, well, listen, before we give you this little backstory, right,
Yeah.
I want to remind you guys that you guys to listen to us on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Make sure you follow our socials at Heat Ray Vision Podcast or go to heatrayvisionpodcast.com. You're going to see all of our links to there. Also, Mario, where can they find you, bro?
I'm everywhere at Just Jazzy. I'm really active on Twitter lately, so if you want to follow me there, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and you guys can find me everywhere at Sing6. You know, I also follow me on Twitter as well. I mean, I there's some we're watching The Boys, right? So we plan on reviewing season 4 of The Boys once everything is all out. We'll review the entire season, and there's some things that I'm saying, you know, about it. So if you guys want to see what I'm saying about it, man, just follow my Twitter at Sing6, and also, make sure you follow the Discord. Join the Discord, man. It's going to be the first link in the description, man. You're going to catch Mario and I in there chatting it up and stuff. So if you feel free to join the conversation and stuff. And yeah, pretty much it. Okay, so MaXXXine. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is crazy, guys. This is going to this is actually kind of funny because Mario and I, obviously, we both enjoyed the first two movies. We thought they were solid. We thought they were great movies. And a breath of fresh air, especially X. And even Pearl, man, like I like the idea. And so we were hyped, obviously, when MaXXXine was like announced and stuff. Like, all right, cool. And throughout the movie, which is obviously, guys, we're gonna do a non-spoiler section, and then we're gonna do a spoiler section. So just to throw that out there, but so we're hyped about this movie, and we thought that it was going to be a sequel to Pearl. So throughout this movie, guys, right, Mario and I were watching this movie, we're confused. We're confused out of our minds. We're like, what the fuck? We're asking questions. And honestly, guys, it was gonna play a factor in my rating because I'm like, this isn't really coherent. Like, this story right now is not really coherent. They don't really explain anything. To like, even at the end of the movie, no explanation. Like, they don't even explain anything. So I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? We're just confused, man. We're just absolutely confused. And it turns out that we were just being honestly stupid.
Yeah, we were idiots.
So listen, guys, you guys are probably listening to this, already saw the first two movies. You guys already know what you guys were expecting.
Yeah.
So Mario and I, we only saw these two movies once, and that was back in 2022. So that's 2 years ago, right? And what we thought, like I said, is that MaXXXine was a sequel to Pearl.
Yep.
So the MaXXXine, we thought that was Pearl.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I don't know what the fuck, right? And so we came to the conclusion that, oh, wait a second, because we were confused throughout the movie. And so after the movie, like, no, we have to look this up. What the fuck just happened? And yeah, we look it up, and no, it's MaXXXine is a sequel to X, and the girl, the Mia Goth, is MaXXXine. What's her name? MaXXXine. I forgot her last name. I forgot her last name. But anyway, she is the survivor from the first X movie of that massacre. Remember when Pearl was out there killing motherfuckers and stuff? She was a survivor. So that, guys, I don't. Trust me, you guys are probably listening to this like, what the fuck are y'all on? Dude, we don't know. Yeah. And that's what made it super confusing. It's like, wait, what? Because throughout the movie, keep it vague, there are some flashbacks to the first movie, X, and we're thinking, how is this possible?
It hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet. How is this possible if this is the future?
I'm over here saying, I'm like, bro, like, in the middle of the movie, I'm like, bro, like, X, the first movie, is a movie within a movie, bro.
That's so so stupid. That's so dumb, bro. But listen, Mario and I were like talking to each other, like cooking up. Like we're like in the lab.
We're cooking.
We're in the lab. We're like, yo, we're cooking right now, bro. Like, look at this shit. But no, in reality, we're just dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
So Pearl, right? So okay, guys, I'm assuming if you guys are listening to this, you guys have seen right the first movie and Pearl. Okay, so just there will be spoilers for those. Okay. So in X, obviously there is this older woman, old lady with her husband, and her name is Pearl, and she's out here sabotaging and killing these I guess I want to say amateur
filmist or directors,
adult filmmakers,
yeah, there
like
you go, yeah.
people, and MaXXXine was the main character that wants to be famous and stuff, and so that's what's happening, right? And at the end of the movie, MaXXXine ends up killing Pearl, which is the serial killer, right? And she ends up surviving while everyone else, unfortunately, they just died, right?
Yep.
So then Pearl is then is a prequel to X, and it goes back to 1918, I think, where we are now in the perspective of young Pearl, and basically what led up to where she is now, where she was the old lady
in X
serial killer. And what confused us is that is young Pearl was played by Mia Goth, the same person that played MaXXXine in X, and in this movie, MaXXXine. And so I guess that's just what confused us. Is like, oh, like this is a sequel to Pearl because we're gonna see her rise to stardom and eventually see her
fall,
basically, and to what led up to her being old and stuff. And no, it's completely not that, guys. And obviously that is because it's our fault. Right?
Yeah.
We didn't do the research. We forgot. So we didn't do the research, and that's basically
That's
it.
fucking funny, dude. Because I was telling Hector on the car ride home, I was like, bro, this entire time, like when the announcement, like the from the beginning, the announcement, all the trailers, the photos I would see, I was like, damn. I'm like, bet that's Pearl. Like this is a sequel to Pearl.
Yeah. It's like, dude, we're actually gonna see. Because what I thought, right, guys, is Pearl. So we find out she's also wants to be a movie star and stuff. That is why she was like really jealous and has some type of connection towards MaXXXine in the first movie and everyone else, because she wanted to be a star, right? And obviously things don't go well for her, and she ends up starts killing people because she's losing her mind and stuff. So I thought was that she was going to change her name, like that MaXXXine was her stage name, and she was out actually gonna go and like be that star. And I thought that's what this was. But absolutely not, guys. And listen, we apologize. But listen, now that everything's cleared up and now that we understand what it is, now we can actually really review it and actually give a proper rating for it and stuff. Bro. But yeah, I guess the first thing we start, we talked about the trailer. We talked about our first impressions. We thought it was a sequel to Pearl, but no, it's not. I guess we could talk about. Let's talk about, I guess, the acting real quick first. Mia Goth herself, man.
I mean, in this film in particular, I thought she definitely hard carried. Like everyone's good. I'm gonna tell you right now, everyone in this film is good. But to me, a standout is Mia Goth. Obviously, she is the fucking. She's what the whole movie's about. But even me saying that, she stands the fuck out. And it's a shame because I feel like I don't see her in anything besides these movies.
That's facts, man.
Because I'm like, where else have I seen her in?
The only other movie that I remember seeing was Infinity Pool.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say that movie, too.
That was back in... Was that 2022? I think that might have been February of 2022 or 2023.
Yeah, probably.
But it was a February movie. And
it was a weird movie. I remember that.
It was a weird movie, man. It was one of those movies where you really had to lock in to understand and actually maybe look up exactly like an analysis for it. But I believe we did not review that one. We did not review that one.
That was one we just saw.
But she was in that movie though. She was great.
Yep.
She was great there. She was great in X, right? And even in Pearl, a completely different person, right, compared to MaXXXine. She did amazing in that movie as well, man. And so, listen, in this movie, she does phenomenal as well. And that's one thing I really do like, man. She's a great actor. Everyone else as well. Even the main, not the main villain, but the semi-main villain in this movie. I forgot his name. It's the PI, the private investigator. We're gonna keep it vague, but I would say he did great as well.
Yep.
I thought he was really interesting. I love the way he spoke and everything.
I think his name is Ethan Hawke. I could be wrong though. Let me check.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, his acting was really good, man. The acting is top notch in this film, and even the set designs, the overall aesthetic in this movie, which we get in 80s, 90s Hollywood vibes. If anything, it kind of reminded me like vibes of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Remember that movie? Remember
Yeah,
that
I
we saw
remember.
back in 2018 or 19?
Yeah.
This was, guys, before we even had, this podcast and before we even reviewed. And looking back, I think
I was completely wrong. It's Kevin Bacon, dude.
Oh, that's Kevin Bacon.
That's Kevin Bacon.
You know what? Listen, here's the thing. We're too old for Kevin Bacon. We're too old, okay? Not too old, sorry. Too young to know who Kevin Bacon is. I remember, do you remember when we reviewed Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special?
Yep.
And remember the whole premise was like, oh, we got to get Kevin Bacon because that's Peter's favorite actor or some shit. And we're like, in that review, we said, who the fuck is, we don't know who Kevin Bacon is, right? And so I remember someone in the comments, if you guys go back to that review, someone in the comments said, it's so interesting to hear like a new generation talk about Kevin Bacon and not know who he is, when I was growing up and everybody, like, he was like one of the best like top actors during that time. And so it's really crazy. So I'm sorry guys if you guys are listening to this and know who Kevin Bacon is or a fan of his.
I think
we're just too young, man.
Isn't he the guy that was in the original Footloose movie? Is that him, or am I wrong?
Probably, bro.
I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong. I only seen the new one.
Yeah, dude. There's a bunch of movies, like older movies, that we just haven't seen. If anything, one of the older movies that we actually plan on seeing is Alien,
The first
and that is
one,
because Alien Romulus is coming out this year, and we were never. At least I was, right. I was never really acquainted with the Alien franchise. I knew what it was. I knew that the Alien Isolation game that was really popular, but I was never really into it, and I want to get into it. So we finally Mari and I finally made the decision. You know what? Let's watch some of these movies and prepare ourselves for Alien Romulus, and actually, be a fan of the franchise and not be fake about it, and just watch Alien Romulus.
Yeah, because the only thing I've only seen, like, I think 2 Alien movies in the game.
Yeah.
The Alien Isolation game. So I'm only ever like tip my like, what's the saying? Dip my toes in the
water.
In the water. That. So I want to get more into it, but. Nah, man. To get back to the Mia Goth, I want to see her. I want to see her in other shit, bro. Because like,
okay,
like
that's fair. It's kind of like I think like typecast.
Yeah, I don't want to like. Even though I very much enjoy her in these like slasher horror movies, whatever the fuck you want to call them, I want to see her in like a Dune. Not saying like not that specific world, but like give me. I want to see her in a variety of roles because I think she can become. I don't know, like a really big actor. She can maybe be like the female version of what the fuck's his name? Timothy Chalamet. Like you know how like he's probably like the number one like actor right now for dudes, and like she could probably be the number one actor for girls. That and like there's other people there, but like that's where I see. I'm like, yo, sure, her career can just take off if she just tries different roles. And again, we're both saying that we've only ever seen her in these movies.
True.
She could very much be in other
movies,
shit.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Yeah,
right?
That's facts. But yeah, so I definitely do agree, man. I want to see some more movies. I mean, like I said, there probably is, but I do understand like the whole typecast situation, man. Even I think Jenna Ortega was typecast for a while.
Yeah, in
she
horror
was
movies,
mostly in like horror movies and
slashers,
like thrillers.
Yeah,
and then she finally branched out with, I think, the movie Miller's Girl or something like that, and that flopped. People didn't really receive it well.
It wasn't reviewed well at all.
So we haven't seen it, obviously, guys. That's not really our cup of tea. But if you guys did, I mean, hey, let us know what you guys think. But who else is other typecast? Fucking Ryan Reynolds he's also a typecast, man. Like he's a typecast in like the comedy. I mean, look at Fall Guy. I mean, If. I have not seen If yet. That came out this year. Hav did. He said it was good. I think
he liked it. He liked it. Yeah.
But he's also typecast. Who else is another typecast? I want to say, I want to say Gus Fring. He's another typecast.
Gus Fring, who's that?
Gus Fring from Breaking Bad. The villain from Far Cry 6.
Oh, him. Oh, okay.
He's
I know what you mean.
He's from The Boys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's typecast as that like evil, like
villain,
smart businessman type of thing. So, and I know it's not really spoilers, but he does make an appearance in this movie, and it's definitely different from what he usually plays, and I did enjoy seeing him in a different role, and I think he did really great. So hey, he probably took the role because thank God I don't have to play a fucking business villain man.
Yeah, probably
shit. But okay, yeah, the acting is really good. It's really great. I want to say it's this equivalent. I want to say it's equivalent to X and Pearl, bro. I'm gonna be honest with that whole acting. And if we're gonna talk about I guess I want to talk about the overall like horror slasher thriller shit, because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This to me wasn't necessarily a thriller or like a not a thriller, but like a slasher at all compared to X and Pearl. So if you guys were a fan of like multiple kills and like really like just multiple kills in those movies, a slasher type of film, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this film is not really like that. Like they definitely tone it down. I mean, one thing, they tone it down with the actual kills, but there are some scenes that does involve some gore stuff. And you will see a bit of shock, value in the film, especially like in the first 20 minutes or something. I remember.
Yeah, that one.
We're like, what the fuck?
I felt that one, bro. I don't want to get into it,
but if we're gonna talk about overall like slasher and kills, bro, I'm just realizing it wasn't really like that. It was. It compared to the first two movies, or what did you think?
I mean, it had its moments.
Yeah,
I would say there isn't a ton like in compared to those movies. They are here, but I don't think that's the vibe they were going for. I think they were going for more like kind of like just like a follow up story. It's kind of like an epilogue, but not really. We're just seeing what happened after MaXXXine. And with this character, and we don't really see too much of the after effects of X in here, but I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't call it like a typical slash or whatever. It's just more. It just feels like a random.
I want to say it's more like suspense mystery.
There we go. That's the fucking word I was looking for. It's definitely a mystery because you're led on to this whole story going on throughout the entirety of the movie up until the very end. You figure out what happened.
Did they show that in the trailer, bro?
I don't think so.
I don't think about like the synopsis, but the overall synopsis, right, is MaXXXine actually, she's obviously a corn star, right, and the first movie X, right, and then the whole massacre happens. She ends up surviving, and I think this takes place 5 years later or something
around there.
And then she actually, it's basically her journey to becoming that star that she wants and branching off from corn, essentially.
And how it comes with challenges and how you have to make tough choices. And it's not an easy path. And if you want to become a movie star, it's tough. It's not easy. And we see that journey with her.
And I want to say that's an overall theme of the entire like trilogy, man. I mean, the whole people wanting to be successful and famous, and they're doing whatever it takes to try to get that. I mean, we saw what Pearl did, and obviously she was unsuccessful. But back to what were we on about real quick?
We were on I
lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Mia Goth acting. We were talking about typecasting.
No, typecasting, but after that.
After that, I don't remember. We went on a little spiel.
Oh yeah, the mystery. Oh yeah. So
it's
a mystery suspense, guys. It's not necessarily a slasher. I'm gonna be real. Like if compared to X and stuff, there are some moments where there are some like gory blood stuff. But I'm gonna be real. Like honestly, Mario, I could only think of probably one kill on screen, like from a slasher perspective, not like typical like. Oh, it's a shootout with cops or whatever. You see people getting shot.
I think I know what scene you're talking about.
That's the only scene I could think of. And the rest, we just see, like, bodies that are already dead.
Bodies are...
like they're already dead. You know what I mean? Like, they're already dead. We don't see what happened to them.
I mean, yes, there is that. But what would you... There was the... I don't want to go too much into detail.
No, I get it.
I think there's more than one.
Like... death, like from a slasher, perspective.
From what I think a slasher is, I think there's more than one.
Okay, in your opinion, then, do you think that this follows?
I just think there's less compared to the other two movies because obviously there's a whole group of, and in X there's a whole group. So obviously
100%.
Multiple people are gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
and then in Pearl, it
was more like thriller horror, but with this one, it's not really
mystery. Like
mystery suspense. It's not really horror or really thriller. Like. You don't like, you know what I mean? It's more like a mystery. Like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? And the thing, guys, we can't really go super in depth because I can't remember if they said it or hinted in the trailer.
I think the only thing I see in the trailer is that we just know it's her rise to stardom.
And
she has to make tough choices.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I really remember from the trailer.
Yeah.
But no, one thing I did want to bring up is because this movie's set in like what was it, the 80s or what was the fuck, 50s?
I think it was the 80s.
Just old Hollywood. You should know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Because we're in old Hollywood. Some of the shots that you get in this film, and there's one at the end where like you're in a hallway and obviously something's going down, and they have it angled. So like you kind of have to like tweak your turn your head like this in order to like kind of see it right. But I love those shots because of those shots. They're meant to like immerse you into that era of Hollywood, into that era of the time period that this is supposedly taking place in, right? So you get a lot of classic shots of like old Hollywood, and I think that was a cool touch. I don't know about you if you noticed it or not.
No, I did. I mean, it's obviously taking inspiration from like the 80s vibe type of shit, and so there are some shots like that, and I really do like appreciate even the set designs and everything. But it's super difficult to really talk about the plot in depth, right, without giving
especially
spoilers.
if it's a mystery.
But I mean, let's say, okay, I guess we could talk about how did that play out. Like, did you enjoy the overall plot and the main villain in this situation?
I will say one thing. I wish they didn't try to use they try to set up a villain and make you think that's the villain, but in actuality this is the villain. So they use that main villain, the fake villain, let's call him that, the fake villain, throughout the entirety of the film, right? I wish they just would have just like either make that the villain or just set up the actual villain just early in the story, because they try to make you think a certain way. Yeah, obviously, and I picked it up right away. I'm like, okay, it couldn't be him after a certain point, because I think they drop a line in the middle of the movie. But one thing about the villain is I just wish they just wouldn't have done it, because I think it was like kind of pointless. Yeah. At a certain point, you realize something, and it's like, well, why are we keep doing this? I already figured it out. Like, it's clearly not this. So why are we keep dragging it on? So I just wish they would have just dropped that guy. It was cool in the beginning, but it only works in the beginning, in my opinion. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So I'm just like, and they keep trying to do it throughout the movie, and I'm just like, at this point, it's like, bro, like, it's kind of like bringing it down in terms of the story. It doesn't add anything to the mystery, because I guess what, as the movie's going on, I kind of figured that out about the mystery. Yeah. So it's like, I wish they would have dropped it a little bit sooner. Other than that, you have two villains in the story. Like you said earlier, one like a mid villain, or what's the word you used? There was like a semi villain. That's what you used. A semi villain. Is that what I said? I don't know. But you said but he was good, and he felt like more of the villain than the actual fucking villain. Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? Because he just comes in at the end and it's just like, well, I kind of don't really care, even though I get it. Like, I get the reasoning. You're telling me, I'm like, all right, I can get why this is important. But like, you set up him way more than you set up him, so I care more about him.
And I like the build up though. I like the build up, like, oh shit, who is this guy, or like, what the fuck's going on? What does he want with MaXXXine? And I don't know if you felt this way, but I felt like the climax, like once we got to the reveal and like once everything went down, it was just kind of a bit underwhelming, in my opinion. It was just kind of like, okay.
Because at that point, you kind of already figured it out.
Yeah, you kind of already figured it out, and like just how it ended, in my opinion, it's just like, oh, like, all right. I mean, that's pretty much it. I kind of like the building. I like the mystery, and I like the journey getting into it. But once it was the reveal and the climax, I just personally,
it didn't live up to the build up.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's just me personally, and I kind of just do wish that it was a little bit more horror and more slasher. Just the first two movies. That's what I was expecting.
That's what I was expecting too, man.
But no, man. It's just it's definitely a different turn, to be honest. But overall, I still thought it was good. I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you are expecting this movie to be like the first movie and Pearl, in terms of that kind of
atmosphere, the vibe,
and if anything, I want to say X was a little bit more horror than Pearl, because with Pearl, you're with the killer, right? But she's out there crazy and actually killing, and so that's my thing. Like, this one, I guess, turned it down even lower with the horror aspect and the killing aspect. And so if you guys are a fan of that, then there's might be a chance that you guys might not like this film as much as the first two. And I think that's where I'm leaning towards too, bro. But overall, I still think it was a good movie for what it was, even after the whole mix-up that we had. and now everything does make sense in the overall theme. I just think that this movie was not as strong as compared to the first one and second one, and that's just my personal opinion. What about you? Or did you enjoy them equally, or what do you think?
No, I think after leaving and after figuring out I was figuring out that it's a sequel to X, not Pro, right?
Yeah.
I was sitting high on my rating, but after discussing it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I think my enjoyment wasn't at the same as X or Pro.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie's shit. I don't think it's bad.
Oh, no.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's good. I think that's where it's at right now, sitting for me after discussing it for a little bit. But I don't know. In terms of enjoyment, I'm not gonna say I think I wasted an hour and a half of my life. I don't know how long the movie is, but I think it was an enjoyable watch.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
I definitely agree. I mean, and with that being said, I mean, we can't really talk about more about it unless we give spoilers. So I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna give our rating and say if it's worth a movie ticket and stuff. And Mari, do you want to go first or want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Right.
For me, man, like I said, I think the thing that stands out for me the most in this movie is the acting by everybody in the film, but especially Mia Goth. She absolutely fucking kills it in this movie.
I think shots in this film.
The shots in this film.
The aesthetic. I also like the aesthetic.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
I think the mystery aspect of this movie, if the build-up was good,
yeah,
but the actual reveal kind of fell flat for me a little bit, just because you did something that I'll get into spoilers. But if I were to say if it's worth the movie ticket, I would say, honestly, I would say no. I would say wait for it to be on streaming services, on Netflix, whatever the fuck you go watch, right? I don't think it's worth the movie ticket. I think it's something that, yeah, it's good. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's a good movie, but I think there's no need to go to a movie theater to watch it. You know what I mean? Unless you're a hardcore fan of the last two, go ahead. But I think you can hold off on it, wait for it to come out on a streaming platform. But yeah, man, that's kind of it for me. I think it's a good overall movie. Remember, guys, just because we give something a 7 doesn't mean it's bad. 7's good for us. You gotta remember that.
Right. No, 7 is actually a good score, man.
Yeah, I feel a lot of people getting confused. Like, no, it's 7. That means it's not good, bro.
No. 7 it means good, right? 8 just means great. And I feel like we gotta, and even 6. I feel like 6 isn't even that bad either.
6 is okay. It means it has good and bad.
6 is still above average, and the way I see it, it's okay and it's fair. Like it's a fair movie. It's
like it's gonna have some good things, but it's also gonna have some bad things.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's just up to you if you want to sit through it or not. Really.
So we want to make that clear, guys, because there's sometimes when we give like a movie a 7 or 6, people think like that's a bad score, and no, it's not. But you know what, Mario, I definitely do agree. I don't think it's a movie. It's definitely a good movie. If you did enjoy the first 2 movies, is it worth a movie ticket? I think it is, bro. A discount price. I think it's worth a discount price. Okay. Because overall, it's still an entertaining movie. It's really good. The acting is phenomenal. It's just the overall reveal of everything just kind of didn't really work for me. Personally, it was just kind of fell flat. The build-up was pretty cool. And I kind of wish that there was more scenes of actually some slashing going on that, like the first 2 movies presented. But with that being said, I'm also going to give it a 7, man. I think it's a 7 out of 10. But because I did enjoy, because I think the first 2 movies I gave an 8.
Yeah, I would have given both an 8. Yep.
Yeah, I gave the first 2 movies an 8. I thought they were great movies, and then this one, although it's good, but I just don't think it's up there with the first 2. In my opinion. Just it's close, but it's not really up there. So yeah, Mario and I, we both give it a 7 out of 10, and that is going to be our non-spoiler section. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. If you guys want to stay for the spoiler section, we appreciate it, and we're jumping into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Now we are in spoilers of MaXXXine. Okay.
So what do you want to go about first, the kills or the
let's talk about the kills. Let's talk about the kills, because here's the thing. Actually, you go first, because you said that there are more. I can only think of one, and the only one is MaXXXine's friend, the video friend.
The video friend? Oh,
that's the only kill I can think of.
Okay, so the way you're talking about slasher, are you talking about like slashers and like kills in a typical, like how they go about it in a typical slasher film? Is that what you mean, or are you talking about actual just kills?
I'm talking about like actual like slasher film, like
sneaking
up on you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going about it like, no, bro, that was the only kill in the movie.
Oh no, the other kill I could think of is the villain guy where he got crushed.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But
it was him, the video got the guy that worked at the video store.
Yeah.
The guy in the beginning who got his fucking balls squeezed.
Well, he didn't die. I don't think he died.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. But
that was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Him, her. We're in spoilers. I was about to say I can't say it.
Yeah, we're in spoilers.
And her father.
Yeah,
but like those aren't slashers.
Okay, so
you're right on that
that's
point.
one video. That's the guy that got crushed, and then the father, right?
I think so.
We're excluding the guys with the balls crushed.
Yeah, we're excluding him. And I don't know. I mean,
those were the only kills that we saw on screen. Those three.
The other ones were off screen, I think.
I'm telling you, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Like
yeah.
the bodies, they were already dead. We just see dead bodies, and like they have this satanic symbol on them.
Okay, that.
We only see those three kills on screen, and the only one that resembled like a slasher type thing was that one video.
Yeah, you're right. And then you're right,
and that was the Night Stalker. So now that we could actually discuss the premise, right? So not only is this about Maxine's journey of becoming an actual movie star and leaving the porn industry, right? At the same time, this is set during the time of the Night Stalker, which is an actual real serial killer, which is another positive that I forgot to mention. That's I do like how they kind of use some real world examples and incorporate it into the movie. But so anyway, during this time, the Night Stalker is a thing, right? And so now it's like you just hear in the news
from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, Night Stalker, hide your kids, hide your wives, you know what I mean? Type shit. You stay indoors. The Night Stalker's out there. And so we even get a glimpse, right, in the first scene where we think that the Night Stalker is about to kill Maxine, but really it's just some random guy.
Random motherfucker, bro.
Random guy, and that's where Maxine turns around and points the gun at him and makes him strip and crushes his balls, bro. And now it kind of makes sense, because remember she said, you want to know the last time a bitch or someone tried to kill me? I crushed them. And I think that's what happened with Pearl. I think fucking Maxine like stomped on her head.
Probably, yeah. I'm
trying to remember. I think that's what happened. And so like she kind of
yeah, you're right. Didn't she run her over?
I think so, yeah, with the car.
Yeah.
So I guess she says that she's like, I crushed her, or I crushed them, or whatever. And so she ends up crushing the balls of the dude when he's butt naked on the ground. Oh my! And you see everything, bro. They get a good shot of it, man. Like it looked like a scene like from The Boys.
Yeah, that's facts.
Like it could be something like that, but it was actually fucking gnarly, bro. And like another gnarly kill would be at the very end where Maxine kills her father, right, and shoots her in the head, and you just see all the brain matter and everything. But I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but So not only is she trying to, become a movie star, there's the Night Stalkers around, and we find out that the Night Stalker takes an interest in Maxine. And we're like, what the fuck? What's going on? And that is where the PI, which is a private investigator that was hired by the Night Stalker, ends up finding Maxine and is, trying to lure her and trying to, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically try to lure her to the Night Stalker. And throughout this movie it's like it's that build up. It's like, who the fuck is a Night Stalker? What's with these weird clues? Because we see the Night Stalker drops off a sex tape. But here's the part that confuses me, because that sex tape, this is the part that confuses me, and I just don't understand, Mario. Like this is. And I'm surprised we did not bring this up in the non-spoiler section. But the first clue that we get, the Night Stalker knocks on her door and leaves a cassette tape. She plays a cassette tape, and the cassette tape is Pearl. Is Pearl having sex in a barn? Remember?
Oh no,
or was that Maxine?
I think that's Maxine, bro.
Was it?
That's from X. We got to remember.
Oh, that was from X.
That's from X. Remember?
Was it?
Yeah, because remember, there's that scene, and I think Pearl was watching them.
Oh,
remember, there's like that little hole, and she probably was watching them, and I think she notices that while she's filming that scene, and she's like, "What the fuck?" and whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So no, you're right. Okay. And so obviously she's freaked out. She wants to figure out who the fuck made this tape. How did you get this tape? Because this tape apparently, as we know, is I think 5 years old or however long. Because this is back when she was like an amateur porn star. This wasn't where she was actually a well-known porn star. So I think I said the word too many times. Fuck. So she's out here trying to figure out who the fuck is this person, and then that we find out that this person actually has info on her, meaning meaning the murders of, I forgot the other, Howard, I think, Howard and Pearl something.
Yeah.
I forgot their last name.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows what happened. He knows what happened in the massacre, and he knows that MaXXXine was a survivor and actually killed Howard and Pearl. Actually, I don't know about the.
I don't know
about
what to do,
the
but she
but
killed
she for
Pearl.
sure killed Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows about that, and he says, "Hey, I know about this, and I can release this to the public, and it's gonna fuck with your career."
Mm-hmm.
And so that is why MaXXXine is like keeping her mouth shut and trying to figure this out on her own. Like, who the fuck is this guy, and what does he want? And that just also plays a theme where, like, yo, bro, that plays into the theme where, hey, no matter what, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be successful. And does that mean keeping my mouth shut of killing of killing this serial killer that killed my friends and stuff like that, and they don't get no justice? Then so be it, dude. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And that's what I also do.
It's a cool aspect.
Yeah, it's a cool aspect. And so throughout the movie, this is what's happening, and we find out that the Night Stalker is actually MaXXXine's father.
Mm-hmm. And this is why it goes back to the point where, like, they make you think Night Stalker is who's stalking MaXXXine, when in reality, Night Stalker is he's real. Mm-hmm. It's just not his. It's just that's not who's actually stalking MaXXXine. Because remember, and I think it's like halfway through the movie, it's the actual police, the homicide detectives. They're like, well, I don't even think it's actually the Night Stalker. I think it's just someone trying to frame it on Night Stalker. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember that. So that's why after that. And you don't even get a sort of satisfaction figuring out, because they tell you it. You don't figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's like, which goes back to my point.
Well, it's kind of confusing, though, because at the end of the movie, they say that MaXXXine took a part in capturing the Night Stalker.
Oh, no. I think you're getting... No, took a part of taking down her father, because they actually show Night Stalker, his face. Remember? At the very end.
No, but Mario, they say, like, oh, and Night Stalker was your father. They say that, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, Mario.
I could have sworn they said, like, oh, Night Stalker was taken down. He was finally found after a year or whatever the fuck, and they show him in handcuffs.
That was, I think, real footage, like in real life.
So that's not Night Stalker? Or Night Stalker was actually her father? I could have sworn the guy in the TV was actually Night Stalker, and it was her father who we were led to believe was actually Night Stalker. Because remember, there's that line the detective says, like, oh, this person who's doing these killings, the one her father's doing, is framing it like it is Night Stalker.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, okay,
That's
so
true.
Night Stalker's not her dad or the person following her.
Yeah. And I guess, but what confuses me, though, is don't you remember, like, MaXXXine's at this news anchor, and they're saying, like, oh, she helped take down the Night Stalker.
I didn't hear that.
Yes, bro. She helped take down the Night Stalker, and she reveals that Night Stalker was her father, bro.
Fuck. I could have sworn that it was like her priest. You took down your father who was a priest, some shit like that. That's what I heard.
No, bro. Here, I'm gonna look it up. Here, I'm gonna look this up, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe.
But either way, what my point was that is the fact that once they told us that Night Stalker wasn't the guy who was actually following around MaXXXine, that's why I was like, all right, well, we didn't even get the satisfaction of figuring that out. Not only that, you keep bringing up Night Stalker even after you guys told us that's not who he was. And to me, it like brought down like a little bit of the mystery aspect for me. And so to me, it also lowered the enjoyment overall when the final reveal comes in at the end, when we find out like, oh, it's her father.
Yeah.
And her father wants to bring her back to the, I don't know, the church or whatever. Because like they believe during this time, right? The people who are religious here, they're just, they think Hollywood's bad. They think it's sinful. They're making movies about satanic rituals and the devil, and they're like, no, you're corrupting the young minds now, whatever the fuck. Was that actually real? Did people actually think like that back then?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
They did, especially with even comic books.
Really?
Yeah, they thought comic books was like part of the devil and like brainwash and stuff. And the thing is, man, obviously, I think that's like super like reaching with the whole devil stuff like that. But I do agree that that Hollywood and even social media and stuff like that, they do manipulate people, like an audience, like to think a certain way and stuff like that. That's like a whole different conversation. I'm trying to find out here, bro, because I could have sworn that we find that out, bro, that MaXXXine is the daughter of the Night Stalker, but I can't find it right here, bro. But do you have anything else to say, Mario?
No, that's pretty much it when it came from the villain, whatever the fuck. But Kevin Bacon, I think he did incredible here. when you get first introduced to him in that dinner scene. Well, not first introduced, but that's like their first one-on-one with MaXXXine. I was like, hey, yo, like this motherfucker can act. I was like, oh fuck. I don't know
No,
why
he
I
was
thought
really good.
I didn't know. I don't know why I confused him with Ethan Hawke. He looked just like that motherfucker. I don't know why.
Who the fuck? Who is that?
Ethan Hawke? He is the father of that girl from Stranger Things, if I remember correctly. Ethan Hawke. He's this guy right here. And he looked just like him. He reminded me of him, bro.
Oh, he does kind of look like him.
Right? I'm like, oh, it's Ethan Hawke, bro. And then this is his daughter who, what's it called? Is in Stranger Things.
Bro, where is it? I had it here, bro. I can't fucking find it.
That's her daughter. I mean, that's his daughter.
Oh, I know her.
Yeah.
That's the girl from Stranger Things.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
man, that was kind of like my whole point when it came to the villains, because I just felt it was just like, okay, why keep bringing up Night Stalker if we know it's
Okay,
not
so
him?
can you give me a rundown of what you overall thought? Like, you thought that the Night Stalker was not actually your father.
At first, because like I said, they introduced like, oh, the Night Stalker, hide your wives and children, whatever the fuck. I'm like, oh, so the Night Stalker is the one following MaXXXine.
Yes,
right
it's right
now.
here. Look, it's eventually revealed that the killer is Ernest Miller, a powerful televangelist. Can I say that word? And MaXXXine's father. Convinced that Hollywood is corrupting the youth, Miller has come to Los Angeles as part of the protests against films like The Priest.
Mm-hmm.
However, he takes things further by killing those around MaXXXine who can't save like MaXXXine's friend Leon. Oh yeah, so he's basically trying to like save her from the devil and the Hollywood type shit. But yeah, it's just right here, MaXXXine's father, bro.
But does it label him as the Night Stalker?
Actually, it does not.
That's what I'm saying.
So I wonder what that was about then.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm just like, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, you made us think this, and then you told us not to think it anymore.
So I guess they lied to the media, because I could have sworn, Mario, she was in the news anchor,
No,
and
because-
they revealed that it was her father.
No, because in that report, right, they were like, oh, the Night Stalker was finally captured. He was captured in his neighborhood 1 year into the killings or whatever the fuck. And then they transitioned it over to MaXXXine. It's like, oh, you recently you helped put down your father, who was responsible for killings or some shit like that. And not only that, even in the ending, what's it called? He kind of said that he didn't kill a lot of people compared to the Night Stalker. Night Stalker has a bunch of bodies under him.
Yeah.
Her dad said like, "Oh, I tried helping your friends." I'm like, wait a minute. That just adds to him not being the actual Night Stalker, because like, shouldn't you have like 50 fucking kills right now or whatever the fuck if you've been doing this for a year? And he said like, "Oh, I've only ever killed her 2 coworkers who worked in that one fucking, I don't know what you call that business, but that one business where you like dance in front of a mirror or whatever the fuck."
Hold on a second. I think she maybe might have imagined that, because I think she was led to believe. No, she believed that her father was a Night Stalker, but it wasn't. And so that scene where she's in a news anchor and stuff, like where she's like in the news anchor, oh, Night Stalker was your father and you took him down. She was imagining that.
For real?
I'm reading an analysis right here, yeah, where the cops demand MaXXXine to lower her gun, leading to MaXXXine to imagine a scenario where she turns the chaos of recent events into a quick ascent to global stardom. So she believes her father is a Night Stalker.
Or she's using it to like advance her career, like, oh, this actress who took down Night Stalker.
Night Stalker, exactly. And that is why I was like, dude, I could have sworn I saw this, the
But that's weird though,
the news anchor talking about it, and it's true. So that did happen, but in her head, she was imagining that, like, oh my god, imagine if I got famous. But really, she snaps back to reality, kills her, and she felt she got no legal repercussions because, you know, what happened. And then we snap back to reality, and this is when they're still in fact still setting up the movie that she's in, the what is it called, the
Pure Teen 2, some shit like that. Pre-teen,
yeah, something like that too.
Yeah.
So she was just imagining that, like,
Oh, what
like,
the fuck? So
I
she
took
just
down Night
used it
Stalker.
to her advantage. Wow.
no, Mario, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Wait, I thought you said she imagined it and then she used it to like get out of it and to like advance her career.
No. So do you remember? Okay. Remember when her father was dying, when
Yeah.
she on the floor, and she had the shotgun.
Uh huh.
Okay, before she shoots him, she's imagining because she at this point she believes he is the Night Stalker.
Okay, yeah.
So she's imagining, oh my god, I could go to stardom because it's the fucking actress that killed the Night Stalker, and that is why we get the scene of her talking with a news anchor, and the news anchor says, and the Night Stalker was your father, and you took him down, or whatever the fuck. She's imagining that.
Okay.
And then she snapbacks into reality, and she's like, and that is why that saying is just, oh, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Whatever.
That's weird. Okay.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to start him, because even if I gotta kill my own father, because he's the quote unquote, I think he's the Night Stalker. Even though I gotta kill my own father, this is gonna bring me fame. I gotta do it, and that's why she does it, and it plays into the theme or anything it takes.
But then that's weird. That I get that now, but that's weird. Then why would these people who wrote the movie include that scene where it actually shows the actual face of the actual Night Stalker? That's what's confusing me.
Because to show that he wasn't actually the Night Stalker, and like in reality, she hasn't gone to fame yet. She's still working on the movie.
Really? Because then wasn't like after that we see her on like that famous like movie theater, like blah blah blah. Remember she's walking the red carpet.
I think was all that
was after, right?
No, it was before. All that was before, and then we get the shot of her in the scene of her recording, and then it shows, remember, her head cut off?
Oh, you might be right.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
it shows her head cut off
in
TV and on the bed, and then the credits roll. That's because that's the reality. Her becoming famous, and her like, oh my god, you're in the new Purity, whatever the fuck. That was all in her head because she rose to stardom because of the movie and her killing her father, who supposedly was a Night Stalker, but was not. Boom, we get hit back in reality. We're back in reality. She ends up killing her dad or whatever.
Yep.
She faces no legal repercussions
because she thinks that was not. Yeah,
and she faced no legal repercussions. Right, and we find out the detective was true, saying how like, oh, this person is framing the Night Stalker or whatever the fuck, I don't know. And then we get the scene, oh, the Night Stalker was taken into custody, blah, blah, blah. After all that, we're put back into the set of the Purity 2 with the girl, and then they're going over the shoots and stuff, and then they're going over the head.
That was confusing as fuck.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know, bro. Bro, this is confusing as fuck. I know, man. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
So she's not necessarily famous yet.
Yeah, in that moment. Yeah,
in that moment she's not.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of it like that. I'm over here thinking in that moment she knows that's not Night Stalker.
No, because she imagined it. Because ready? Watch.
I didn't think of it like that.
Do you remember the beginning of the movie? They show like a VHS tape of like her daughter, and he says, "Hey," and there's like a saying that the father says, "I'm not gonna accept the life. I will not accept the life that I do not deserve," or something like that, right? Okay. Do you remember where she's in the red carpet of the Purity 2 and stuff? Oh my god! Hey, talk to us, right?
The reporter's talking to us, advice,
and she asked for the advice, and she says, well, there's one thing that my dad always tells me. And then it cuts back into reality in her head. And she's like, say it with me. And they say it together. And then he kills her. Because she's imagining that in her head of what would happen if I actually kill my father.
Yeah.
I will get stardom. And I said that I will do anything that it takes to reach stardom. So I have to kill my father. That makes sense,
bro. I was not thinking that when I was thinking about this shit. Yeah. Holy fuck.
But like, does that?
It makes sense now. It makes sense now. Yeah.
And so then we're cut back into reality where the Night Stalker is actually captured.
Yeah.
And we're on the set of Purity.
Dude, I thought that was after everything. I'm like, why are we back here?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Holy shit. All right. Yeah. Oh wow.
Damn.
That's cool,
girl. Yeah. There we go, man.
What the fuck.
Hope you guys listening followed along, because I know it's kind of a doozy, but it just makes sense now.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Because that's how, and that's the theme. It's like, yo, you're gonna do anything that it takes to become famous. And her thing was, hey, if my father is a Night Stalker, I could kill him right now, and it's gonna get me famous, and this is what could happen. And then boom, she imagined it, and then once it cut to the scene where like she's about to give the advice, it cuts back into the reality, and boom. And so at this point, we don't even know if she's actually made it. We don't know if the Purity 2 actually made it big. Yeah. And I guess it could maybe potentially
lead to
another movie.
That'd be tough though. What would it be?
What could they do?
That's what I'm saying. I think you have to end it here.
I think dude. I think they should end it here. I think it's a good movie. It's solid. and maybe it should, just close the books, man. Just close the books. Just, you know what? This is where we're gonna end it, because
You can't do more.
what? Yeah, what else can you?
Another one
do,
comes
man?
out, but it's like nothing to do with horror slasher. We just see her career, like another Quentin Tarantino, like that film, fucking Once
Like
Upon a
which
Time, another one of those
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
It's like, bro, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, dude. So I don't think there's anything else. So yeah, his father was just like a weird cultist type of dude that
No, he was just heavily religious.
that would frame shit on the Night Stalker by kidnapping women who are in the sex industry
Yep.
or women who are considered degenerate, and he is there to try to convince them to convert them to God and stuff like that. And obviously, if they disagree,
You
well,
die,
hey,
bitch.
if they disagree, they get turned to chopped cheese, and they just literally, bro. We see some limbs and stuff, some heads cut
bro.
off and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, dude. Okay, boys. We got it done. We got it done. That's basically the analysis at the ending of how that pretty much
Yeah, that
plays
was
out, and that's pretty much the whole story, man. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it
much the
is.
whole movie. But like I said, it's a thriller. It's not a thriller, like a suspense mystery. You know, there's also some twists in there. So, but it's not like a slasher, or you don't see, you know, bunch of kills come from the same person, like from Pearl or even X and stuff, and it kind of loses that horror element. And that's the thing where, even though I do think it's a good movie, I think it's entertaining. I definitely do think it's, you know, worth a movie ticket and discount price. But for some reason, even despite all of this, even this discussion that we had, I personally don't think I enjoyed it just as much as the first two. I do think the first two were a bit better. I think I enjoyed them a bit more for what they were. But yeah, for what this is, still entertaining, still good. And I mean, there's nothing else we could really add to the spoiler section, right? Is there anything else?
one thing I did
go
add, it's just a little thing. It's the guy that worked at the movie store place.
Okay.
I low-key wanted to see more of him.
He seemed like he seemed like a cool
And I
character.
thought he would.
Yeah.
But no, he's kind of like barely in the film, kind of.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I don't know. I just felt like he was going to be more a part of MaXXXine rise to stardom, you know? But he was just there more as just like to advance the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so that was like a bummer to me, because I don't like, yo, this guy's actually, I felt like he was written well, and he acted really well. Like, this is my first time ever seeing him, right?
Sure,
and
yeah.
how he portrayed his character, I was like, yo, this is cool. I want to see more of this. But sadly, we didn't.
Yeah. It's because it was there to really, I guess, show the.
And also, what the fuck did he mean by? I got confused by this. I don't know. I wonder if you figured it out. When he died, right? This is right when his death scene. He said like, "Oh, I don't partake in that business anymore. I don't do that shit anymore." What did he mean by that? Because we now know that he was talking to her father.
No.
Who was he talking to then?
He was talking to I don't know. He was talking to someone, and he kicks him out.
Uh-huh.
And once he's leaving, he's looking him through the window outside, and he takes off the open side, and then the night quote unquote Night Stalker, the Maxine's father, is already behind him.
Okay.
So it was someone else.
All right. So just a random person.
Buddy was there like Batman. He just got in there. I don't know
Yeah.
how. But yeah, I don't think he was talking to. I think he was just talking to some random.
I thought it was like a setup or some shit.
I thought
dude.
so too. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. But we see him kick him out, and don't we see him look out the window watching the guy leave and taking down the fucking
Open
sign like, yo, what the fuck? And then we see, and while he's doing that in the background, he's already there behind him. Maxine's father's already there standing behind him. So yeah, I don't
that
know.
was the only slasher type of kill.
Yeah, you know, yeah, it was, and to go back to what his purpose was. His purpose was to really, I guess, prove to the cops that Maxine didn't do it, because here's the thing, I think 3 people already, or 2 people died.
At that point.
No,
It's for sure
no.
2.
So 2 people died that Maxine knew, and that's when the cops first pull up and says, "Hey, you know these people. When you got to ask questions, she doesn't want to talk." So and you're like, typical, right? And you're the last person that's seen them, so they're kind of alluding to like, hey, you know something about this. You know, either you could be the killer or you know some sensitive information here. And so then when the video store guy died, like a close friend of Maxine, and they're rolling him out of the gurney, she's there looking like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? It's just a gurney. And you can see the police officer notices MaXXXine in the crowd and purposely, in real life, they would not do this.
Yeah, I know,
in real life,
right?
they would never do this. But purposely uncovers the dead body to showcase that it was her friend. And that's where MaXXXine rushes out there, typical, right?
Yeah.
And trying to get to him. And the police officers are stopping him. And then and the police officer ends up covering him back up. And she's like, oh, okay, bet. Like, now, maybe this will get her to talk. And it does. Next scene, she's there in the morgue or whatever the fuck, surrounded by bodies. In real life, they would never do this.
Yeah.
In real life, they would never do this. If they're gonna question somebody, like, hey, you have some information. Here, let's talk in this morgue and let me show you these dead bodies.
Yeah, I know.
They would not do that. But it clearly worked, right? Even though her tactic was not really humane, like showing the fucking dead body to a bunch of people, like even bystanders, even though it was not humane, she did it on purpose to be like, hey, look what happened to your close friend, and this will most likely get her to talk. And it did. She ended up no, she was there to talk, but then the guy was being an asshole.
I could tell they were doing that good cop bad cop shit.
Yeah. Of course,
it was funny,
and it was pretty obvious because like when it didn't go well, like that's where the officer's like, "What? You didn't like that performance?"
Yeah.
So they're clearly doing that. No. But because of the bad cop not necessarily working, that's where MaXXXine kind of closes off. It's like, no, like I did want to speak out, but nah, man, fuck y'all, y'all beat you too.
Eventually, that does persuade her though to save her co-star in the Rubentines too. That sequel, that girl who died. Remember?
What do you mean?
That her co-star that was in the movie she's in.
Okay.
That chick. Remember how she was invited up to that producer's house or whatever the fuck?
Oh yeah.
She thought back to that scene at the morgue, and she was like, because remember that the lady doctor, not the lady detective was like, hey, if you can give us information that could save the next girl's life.
Yeah.
And then MaXXXine says, oh well, maybe she save herself like I did. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, when now we're back here, when she thinks about that conversation, that's when it makes her go up to the house.
Exactly, and try to do something about it.
Yeah.
And then that's when the police, show up, and then
were you expecting a gunfight?
No, bro.
I was not expecting a gunfight.
So she ends up going up there and stuff, and this is the big reveal. We're like, oh my god, is this the Night Stalker? And at this point, as an audience, we still think it's the Night Stalker. Oh, what the fuck? It's the Night Stalker's MaXXXine's father. And we find out it's the father, and he's the one saying Hollywood's demons and satans, and you have to repent and blah blah blah. So they end up. And then I remember MaXXXine's like freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god, you're my father!" And like she's like freaking out. She bumps into the suitcase. The suitcase rolls down the stairs, and that's where we see the girl from the very first Puritine movie.
Yeah.
And we see her head and like limbs, and it's like, oh shit,
whole thing there.
And so then MaXXXine gets unconscious, and he has her tied up. And then he's basically, he tells the guys like, we're rolling, right? Like, because they want to record this shit. Like, yeah, we're rolling. Okay, cool. And then he says, I'm going to do an exorcism.
Yeah.
And then this is where he's trying to do an exorcism on MaXXXine. And this is where the whole Satan stamps are. Because like, hey, if you don't want to repent or you don't want to do this, then we shall mark you to know who
you really are.
Yeah, who you really are, who the devil is, and blah blah blah. And then that same mark, the stamp mark, was on the other victims and
the
stuff.
dead bodies. Yep.
Yeah, and so before he's like about to mark her, that's where the police officers, the detectives, I should say, pull in and start shooting, and then we have a shootout of like the two detectives and like these followers of MaXXXine's father dressed in white, and they like immediately pull out shotguns and like,
I was like, what the fuck, where did they get this shit from?
And the pistols, and they have like a shootout.
Yeah.
And then the MaXXXine's father ends up getting away, and then the guy detective ends up dying. He gets shot. And then we don't know about the female detective because we just see MaXXXine going up to the noise of where the female detective and her father are, and she comes back like a mini jump scare, and she has a fucking cross lodged in her eye, and she tumbles down the hill.
And MaXXXine's just like, all right, I'm moving forward.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man. And then that's where we get that scene of like, her killing her, and like the police helicopter pulls up and stuff. So but yeah, I don't know. I thought that whole climax of like, oh, I'm doing an exorcism and like a whole shootout, and then the
it just adds to the fact that like, yeah, guys, this ain't really a horror slash. It's more of a murder mystery.
Yeah, and it just the build-up was really cool, but the overall climax and stuff, I thought it just fell flat for me. It just didn't really work in my opinion. I was like, all right, cool, but I do like that what we discussed about her imagining shit.
Yeah,
like that was pretty cool. That's a nice touch. Cause in a way, bro, MaXXXine is kind of like she's just kind of so obsessed.
She's
in being
fucking that a little
successful.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's kind of messed up a little bit in the head, but that's because she's so obsessed and she wants to do anything it takes to become famous, and that's the overall theme of the X trilogy. You know, so I do enjoy that. But I mean, is there anything else that we could really talk about?
No, man, that was really my last point for
Yeah.
me, at least.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. With that being said, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.
Peace.